Pretty fun category. A lot of 1P2C, which is like the heart and soul of Lego speedrunning. In the commentary booth, I have Chimkin.
Hi, I'm Chimkin.
That is Chimkin, obviously. And we'll be playing this game. So, without
I'm
further
so
ado,
excited.
we can start in three, two, one, go.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Do you want to explain no cut real quick?
Yeah, so for those that aren't aware, No Cut is a cheat code that is available for a lot of LEGO games that allows you to skip cutscenes from a new game, which means that the whole game is going to be significantly faster since we don't need to watch any of the cutscenes. This game is based off of the television show Star Wars: The Clone Wars, mainly the first two seasons. But the prologue here takes place during Attack of the Clones in the arena on Geonosis. So we're getting a little introduction to the Clone Wars from the beginning here. And part of this boss fight is fighting these beasts here. And you see that Chess had that one, the Nexu, stun locked on the edge there, and now he's going to fight the Ackley here. Gets rid of both of those legs real quick. There's a lot of enemies surrounding this area, um, but fortunately they're really bad at shooting you. So he's not going to have too much of a problem with that while he fights the Ackley here. This is a pretty chaotic room, but it's just really a series of bosses all in a row there. And now we're going to have another one with Mr. Django Fett. A new mechanic that was added to this game that was not in previous LEGO Star Wars games is the ability to throw your lightsaber, which makes Jedi have a ranged ability as well as other characters, which is quite good for dealing with fly like that. The final part of this level involves having these gunships open to let the Jedi escape in them. And Chess is gonna see if maybe he can get a zero stud situation going here. Maybe. Oh, I don't think it's quite gonna make it. No. This is another game where ending with zero studs does save time, but it is pretty difficult to get it there, since the enemies like to not kill you.
Very tight because you get studs a lot, and unlike a lot of other Lego games where the studs sprawl out away from where you die, in this game the studs just kind of like sprawl out right where you die, so you instantly pick it up most of the time. But if it is successful, if you do get zero studs, it saves about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it skips that animation in the status screen. No. So now there's three different episodes in this game. There's the Dooku episode, the Grievous episode, and the Ventress episode. We're gonna start here with the Dooku episode, which features a lot of ground battles, starting with this one right here on the Battle of Geonosis. So we got a couple of Jedi here, Mace Windu and Kit Fisto, and they got to clear out all these enemy checkpoints over here. And to do that, he's going to get a better vehicle with Mace Windu here, or try to. He cleared that first one. Unfortunately, sometimes the bad guys are pretty active in attacking, and these Hailfire droids do not have a whole lot of attack, so they die pretty quickly. But they have a lot of damage that they shoot out, which makes them really good for clearing these enemy bases quickly. And looks like, fortunately, Kit Fisto is going to get a number of his Hellfire droid. See if he can maybe grab one more here, but it's going to get a little close. Alright. One more there. Alright. Not too bad.
That one's another level where it wasn't actually from the show, but it was kind of like it was from episode 2, the movie.
Right. Yeah. But I do believe every other episode or every other level of this game is from an episode, namely from the first season of the show. But there's a couple of levels from the second season as well. This is a level, Gungan General, where Obi-Wan and Anakin got captured by Dooku, but that happened during a cutscene or off-screen maybe. And this is the part of that episode where Jar Jar has to go rescue them. So he's going to be doing that with the help of his clone friends. This level is a bit inconsistent since it involves these vehicles from the enemies, which kind of behave erratically and unpredictably. But so far, this has been going pretty well. It looks like.
This should be a good Gungan if everything can go swimmingly. Oh no.
Oh, maybe that'll do it. One more.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. One mechanic that hasn't been super clear is after an X amount of time, about 30 seconds or so, once you've taken an enemy vehicle, it gets pulled back and you no longer are able to ride it. So I was trying to beat out that timer, which is also why I switched vehicles in the middle so that I could restart that timer.
Right, and usually the enemies have significantly better vehicles, at least damage-wise, compared to the ones you spawn in with. So that's why getting the enemy vehicles is usually better. But we have a level here that's not a ground battle level. This is more of a standard level, or a vehicle level, I guess you could call it, but they're really one and the same in this game. So the main objective of this section, there's 3 different parts of this ship that you need to activate, like a sprinkler on to stop the fire. And it's kind of an interesting section because one player gets to do 2 of them while the other player does 1 of them. And right now, Jess is going to do a camera pan cutscene skip, similar to the ones that are in LEGO Harry Potter Years 5 through 7, if you were watching that run earlier today. So basically, if you drop in player 2 right at the beginning of a camera pan, it just skips it, which is very useful for skipping a lot of the in-game cutscenes throughout the run. Now, just one more sprinkler here, and Jess is going to do a bit of a tactic here, where after pulling this lever, he's going to jump in Ahsoka's gunship, and then drop out Ahsoka, and the game will register as having left that pad since the gunship lifted off and continue to the next section. You have to actually leave that section of the gunship for the cutscene to start, but you can cheese it a bit doing it like that.
Mind if I read a quick donation?
Go ahead.
Alright, we have $50 from DJ Ortho that says, "Thanks for having me. Good luck and Godspeed."
Alright, thank you so much, DJ.
Thank you, DJ, dude.
Great run to watch. Really appreciate you coming out and helping through the marathon. Alright, so now Ahsoka has to get rid of these super battle droids because Ayla Secura and I believe Commander Cody are scared. And once these 9 droids are out of the way, they get no longer scared. And in the meantime, player 1's just kind of chilling because this is a section where you can only really do stuff with 1 player. Sorry, this is Commander Fly, not Commander Cody, my mistake. Sometimes I get confused.
There is a way to get 2 players inside of that room, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do it. I wasn't able to get P1 into the tank. This is one of the newer skips that have been found in this game. You can drop and warp player 2 here and skip a lot of movement between each tank.
That does save quite a bit of time. right there, he got another cutscene skip by dropping out and then dropping back in to get into the ship a little bit faster there. And that's it for that level. We're on to Defenders of Peace, I believe is the name of the next level.
Yep.
This is another ground battle level, and another one where we're going to want to steal a enemy vehicle and make use of its superior firepower. But first, we get a little bit of a introduction to building buildings, I guess, in ground battles. It's a bit of like a tutorial here at the beginning, where you put together your first command point here, and get to use the turret here as well, this silver wall. Chess is going to grab a few studs here to have enough money to buy this turret. That is actually a bit of a mechanic throughout this game. You need to keep track of your stud count in some levels, but fortunately it's usually pretty lenient. There isn't too much stud grinding or going out of your way for studs needed. Alright, so the way this level ends is you need to destroy the, like, biological weapon or whatever that this guy is using to cause havoc on these poor people. He's off in the upper right-hand corner of the room. So Chess is going to get rid of these ray shields that are protecting it and go in for the kill on it up there. It's almost down with the one over there on the left. It should be down with the one on the right here very quickly. And just a matter of knocking out the actual vehicle, and looks like he'll get it all the way without losing his tank. So that's always the goal there. Though sometimes you get a little stuck with your tank earlier and don't quite have enough firepower, but that didn't seem to be a problem today. Alright. We are now on to Weapons Factory, I believe.
Yes, sir. One of the hardest levels in the game because of all the intense and crazy 1P2C that's required.
Mm-hmm. This is a bit of a infamous level, I would say. It gets kind of a bad rap by some people, since the later stages of this level are pretty intense. But it's pretty fun. It's a pretty cool 1P2C focused level. So the beginning of this level is pretty straightforward. There's just one command point on the enemy side that you need to clear out. Nothing too crazy yet. It's just 3 tank barracks here. Those will get cleared out pretty quickly with the walker here. But after this wave, it's a little bit bigger. Now there's 4 instead of just the 1. It's pretty similar setup as before, but with the additional ones, it gets a little more complicated. There's some metal objects, there's some normal ones as well. And he's going to grab this enemy tank again for that extra firepower, clear out this upper command point a little bit faster. Well, player 1 gets rid of the command point in the middle.
Going too hot.
Getting pretty shot up on the tanks from the top there. That's alright. Sometimes these battle droids get pretty crazy all over you. Still was able to clear out at least one of the command points over there on that, or one of the buildings on that command point. And then we'll be on to the third wave here, and it looks like we should have just barely enough studs for this, I think. Unless I'm forgetting how many studs everything is.
I'm gonna grab a little bit more right here, because I'll need 20,000 for the new vehicle, a laser guy.
Right, that's right. Looks like you have enough now.
Should be good now.
Yeah, so during this wave, we're going to see some golden buildings, and the golden buildings require a laser tank instead of a tank like the one he has. So after he clears out this command point, he should be able to have enough studs or have enough command points to be allowed to. Wow, that was quite.
That was
Wow. All right. Yeah, that's an example of the sort of things that sometimes happen playing this game, I guess.
And I definitely just bought the wrong item because that messed me up. Ooh. I need this guy right here if I need 20k, so I'm going to try to get more right here. There we go.
Fortunately, those enemies drop some studs there, so have a decent backup there just by clearing up those folks.
At least now we have a backup tank. In this case, this one dies.
Yeah, in case something happens, there's always more tanks. You like to see that.
The more tanks, the merrier.
Yeah, for sure. Now you see that like there's a lot of interesting pairings for this. Like you'll see that the golden ray shield was protecting the metal barracks on the left. So you have to clear out the golden ray shield first, which kind of dictates the way that the bottlenecking works here. It looks like that second tank is going to come through, so that's just 4 more buildings, and then after this, you'd think that the level would be over, but there's actually another half of this level afterwards. This is definitely on the longer side of levels in this game. I don't think it's the longest one. I'm pretty sure it's not actually, but it's definitely on the longer side as far as content goes. So now we're Ahsoka and Barriss, and we're gonna just beeline through this weapons factory entrance here. Their goal here is to destroy it by using the weapons against the factory. Pretty bold strategy. We'll see how that works out for them.
First, we gotta make it through these little puzzles where you put the purple triangles in the purple places. This is some top-notch security by the Geonosians.
Yeah, well, they're known for their battle droids. I don't think they're known so much for their security.
Very true.
You know, it's pretty crazy they're so good at making, like, droids and stuff when they live in, like, caves. I mean, this is, like, this does not look very technologically advanced, but they have a whole droid factory down here somewhere. Yeah, I don't judge. And we're going to do a quick skip here. If you you do a double jump slam into that upward air funnel, you can basically hit that without building the fan. Because I think there's supposed to be like a fan that pushes you up.
A trampoline, yeah.
Trampoline, okay. But the effect of the trampoline going up is already there, so you just need to get enough height to hit that space. And during this section, to open some doors and take control of this tank to blow up this shield generator power thing in the middle of the room. And then once that's blown up, that'll be the end of this level, and we'll almost be done with this first episode. Just one more level to go here. So this is more of a continuation on this level. In the next episode here, we have the Legacy of Terror, I believe that's what it's called. This is the face-off versus Poggle the Lesser and his hive mind queen thing. But first we're gonna have to get inside of this castle place. So on the right, you see that Commander Cody has the ability to recruit a group of nearby clones, and with their combined firepower, they're able to take out the golden objects. Meanwhile, there's a little bit of a skip here where you can lift objects. If you have a character jumping on top of them, you're able to still lift them up. And you can use that in a couple places just to barely skip. Like he skipped a little bit of a puzzle there. And once again, we'll combine these two animations here. they'll be able to build both halves of this at the same time. Try and get inside the castle here. This is a pretty cool level. It's a lot of optimization and movement and fast lines. There isn't a whole lot of skips or tech in this level, but it is a lot of just cool small optimizations. Finding ways to save little bits of time wherever you can.
If you've ever seen the TV show episode for this level, it was definitely one of the scariest episodes from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, this whole arc was pretty bonkers with like zombies and stuff, and like a terrible virus. Yeah, definitely scared me when I was a kid.
Now, I have my brightness settings up in this game, so my it's a much brighter than it actually is. When it is much brighter than what it's supposed to be, or
Yeah,
sorry, darker.
I remember when I played this as a kid, it was actually really hard to see. This is probably the level I remember the most, and it was very difficult to see what was going on. It is legitimately supposed to be like pitch black in here, except for like the lights on your characters. Alright, we're gonna come into a boss fight here in a second, with the Hive Queen. Since this alien race, the Geonosians, I think are kind of insecty in a lot of the biological decisions made in regards to what they are. Fun fact, during this cutscene, there's actually a reference to the movie Alien. Little factoid for you there. But anyway, now we're gonna have a battle with this queen, and she's gonna throw her egg things at us out of her tail. And so we're gonna have to wait a minute for these eggs to get thrown out before we can head up to where our lightsaber is by that Geonosian. On
Up
the
there.
right there.
They're mocking us. Soon they'll be sorry.
Yeah, for sure. Here is the first egg that we can actually lift. And there's supposed to be 3 eggs that are tossed at you, but you only actually need to use 2 of them. Once you get the first and second one locked in, then you're able to jump up to the top. But until then, there's an invisible wall surrounding that, and I believe it's uninteractable up there until you do that. So, not able to skip this whole section because of that. But now, you go up there and get your lightsaber. And after you topple this pillar here, go on to the left side of the room, where she now throws bombs out of her tail for some reason. Explosive eggs or whatever. I think these are like supposed to be eggs or like larvae or something that she's throwing. But
I can
explode.
guarantee that this was not in the show.
Yeah. Pretty sure she did not have like a machine gun on her tail.
But you never know.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe this game is canon and Star Wars is not. So, from this point on, it's just a auto-scroller running to the end, being chased by the giant mass of insects in the background. But fortunately, they are not faster than you, so nothing to worry about.
For those of you familiar with the game, The Complete Saga, this is pretty similar to the last level of Episode 6. And Into the Death Star, where you have the escape sequence running around.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's actually the last level in this game, too. The last level of the Dooku storyline.
And with that, we have 1 episode already behind us. 2 more to go here. We're going on to Grievous second here. Grievous is a pretty exciting episode. There's a lot going on. A lot of these levels are pretty involved. Starting strong here with Duel of the Droids. This is a very early episode in the show where Goldie, that droid over there, is the replacement, quote unquote, for R2-D2 after R2 gets captured. But Anakin wanted to come back and get R2 since he has like important secrets on him or something, I think.
Yes.
But it turns out Goldie's actually evil. That hasn't happened yet in the level, but it will happen during the next cutscene. Big thing during this section, because in this game, you only have 4 hearts, which I know is standard, but in some games prior to this, you actually had 4 hearts, but you only took half a heart of damage every time you got shot, which means in reality you had like 8 health. But in this game, you actually do only have 4 hearts, which makes it very easy to die, especially in sections like this where you're just completely surrounded by droids and you're getting shot frequently. It's relatively easy to die very often, and you could clear out all the droids, but there are so many droids that it would take so long, and it's way faster to just take a couple deaths to try and run through this section. Though it is definitely a thing that happens with all the deaths that happen in this room, just from like the hundreds of droids that get in your way.
I'm surprised that this game doesn't have a issue with loading this many characters. Like, I think, is it Lego Batman 1 that can crash if there are too many enemies loaded?
Yeah, I know for certain there's this one part of one of the levels in that game where a like absurd number of police officers spawn in, and if you stick around too long, too many of them spawn in, the game crashes. Kind of similar to what happens in Death Star Escape in the Complete Saga. When you do something similar. So this whole section involves just putting bombs on these places.
Oh my gosh, Ahsoka.
Oh my. Yeah, look at her go. She's like... Oh my
She got all the battle droids, and she's killed the Jordikas, too.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I'm just holding attack to give me invincibility for the next room, so I can have full hearts. And she's getting some perfect deflect shots while deflecting. So that's giving her, like, this insane strength.
Yeah, that's awesome. This, I believe, is the first part of the run where you're basically playing like 2 separate levels at once. Sometimes the game goes into split screen and it puts your 2 parties into like physically very different locations like this. So chess is more or less accomplishing like 2 different level objectives at once here. With Ahsoka on the left was fighting Grievous with the help of a super battle droid. Anakin and R2 on the right here will be in charge of activating all these bombs that we've been placing throughout the level as soon as Ahsoka places the last one right here. And after that, we will once again reconvene, and we will no longer be in separate parties, but we need to actually activate the bombs first for that. And all those bombs that we placed throughout the level now explode, which I believe that destroys this base once we get off of it.
Oh man!
I remember from the show.
Oh, he warped back. That's crazy.
Yeah, he was right up against that trigger. All right, last room of this level. We're gonna have a bit of a boss fight between R2 and Goldie, the titular duel of the droids, if you will. And in the meantime, Anakin and Co. are going to do some other objectives here to try and rescue, or try and get their ship away from this. So some of these R2 panels here will raise the ship over. There is pieces to a Jedi Starfighter inside of this. That is very helpful for some of the final objectives of this room. So it seems like R2 has overpowered Goldie for the time being, and is now on its way over here to enter the end. But first things first, getting inside of this Jedi Starfighter is pretty important, since you don't want to get warped away from it. And getting 3 quick cutscene skips in here to skip the rest of that animation there, and that is the end of the level now that we've rescued R2-D2. Pretty lengthy start to this episode, but I believe the second level is a decent bit shorter. This is one of the shorter levels in this episode. Because now we're going to a pair of levels that take place during the first arc of the show. The first episode is, of course, Ambush, featuring Yoda, which we will see later on in this run. But after that, there's a 3-episode arc called the Malevolence arc, which features Grievous's big ship, the Malevolence, and our protagonists trying to destroy it. Was Plo Koon's ship just, like, wide open when he was in space there? Did you see that?
I wasn't even paying attention. Maybe.
It just looked like his cockpit is just open.
That's crazy. His cockpit was open.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm seeing things I can't tell.
Maybe he can breathe in space or something.
Yeah, maybe. He does have that breathing mask thing. So anyway, yeah, this is the Malevolence, this big ship, and in this level, the goal is to cripple the Malevolence's big gun on its side, because that thing does a lot of damage. And then in the next level, we're going to actually destroy the ship. But for this one, we're just trying to cause a little bit of damage. And but to do that, we want to get a whole bunch of torpedoes here. Shoot those all at the ship, and then once those are all shot, and go ahead and destroy this bad boy once and for good. And that is the end of the level. This is quite a short level here. Not too much going on. It's pretty much exclusively a vehicle level, except for that little part where you get out at the beginning. And we're going to follow that up with a level that has a lot going on in the next one here. Destroying Malevolence.
Yeah. Now that Shadow of Malevolence, the level I just finished, that would normally be the end. But Padme decided she wanted to come and get kidnapped. So now she's in this burning ship, and so now we gotta go save her and get out.
I guess they needed one more episode in their arc, so they added some extra conflict there.
Yeah.
But that's alright, it gives us this beefy level here. So, this first section here, we have some trains on this ship for some reason. I'm not really sure why there's a bunch of trains here. It seems like the ship isn't big enough to have a whole, like, train system, but whatever.
This ship is massive.
I mean, yeah, but, like, trains?
Well, it's not really trains, it's more of like cargo transporters.
Alright, maybe.
Oh my gosh. Go. Shh.
Everything alright there?
Dude, I was messing up that 1v2C. Dude. Okay,
It's all
we're
right.
we're good.
So, we have a bit of a skip here coming up. So normally you're supposed to do something with this crane. I'm actually not really sure what the intended thing is, but you don't actually need to use it, because you can just lift R2 around the electric track and chuck him over the platform, and not need to do any part of that. So now we're going to go to a rather complicated 1v2C, where we're just going to play like 2 completely separate levels for like 5 minutes. But they do interact with each other a little bit. Like there's fire on both sides here right now, and you see that R2 making the water flow through the sprinklers over here is also going to affect the other side. now we're going to have a quick event from this side on the left with C-3PO is going to affect Obi-Wan's side. Since once you go through here, there's a cutscene where a vulture droid goes through the window of both of these sides of the ship and causes a problem with the air going out. Don't ask me how the oxygen is flowing out of the room and everyone is just kind of chilling like normal. I couldn't tell you physics behind that, but that's alright. No one seems concerned, so I won't be concerned. Well, there he went out the window, I guess. Alright, so at this point we have a pair of doors here. There's actually a mini kit inside of this door that Anakin is putting together if you put them in the right order. But the right order was not assembled there. It doesn't actually matter for beating the level. You just need to put them in anywhere. But for the mini kit, you need it to match the left side. Little note, not everyone knows this.
Oh, I got destroyed there.
That was an unfortunate death. Quite a costly respawn there. But so now Anakin is on the bridge of the ship, and Obi-Wan and R2 are in the engine room, I guess. So Anakin is gonna guide the ship, and Obi-Wan and R2 are going to give it more power so that it accelerates towards a moon. I think that's the plan here. Which, seems like a pretty catastrophic plan in regards to the amount of damage they would cause to the moon, but maybe no one lives there, probably.
What do you think the chances of no one actually living on this moon are?
I'd like to say pretty good. I can't imagine every person in our party would be along for this plan if that wasn't the case,
Well, this is Anakin's plan.
That's true, but Obi-Wan and Padme, I don't think they'd be all for sending a ship at a moon if it was gonna cause damage to people,
You might be right.
And Anakin, I can see that happening. I haven't watched this episode or any of season 1 in quite a while, so I don't really remember. But one little interesting, quirky mechanic of this game is C-3PO is really slow. Even by C-3PO standards, he's really, really slow. And when he starts taking damage, he gets stuck in this really, really, really slow damage animation. So if you get hit one time, you get stun locked until you get hit 4 times and die, basically.
And then you get iframes, yeah.
Yeah. He makes him not a very good character to play as. So that's why Chess is mostly throwing 3PO around towards where he wants him to be prior to changing to him, since he wants to avoid having to walk around too much as him. So during this section, the main goal with Anakin is just to clear out the rest of the droids, and every once in a while, when Obi-Wan pulls one of the levers, it'll spawn in some more droids in the bridge, I believe. Obi-Wan's section finishes once he hits this elevator with R2 at the end of this room. Looks like Anakin's section is also going to be done here in a second. I believe this is the last droid eco. Yeah. So Anakin will go out this door and Obi-Wan will go up the elevator, and that'll end both sections. So they're both going to end pretty much at the same time here, with very little delay between them. And I hope you enjoyed that level, because that was quite a lot going on there. And we're on to a little bit of a simpler level next, but it still has a decent bit going for it. This is Lair of Grievous, I believe, is next. Yeah. So this is another kind of scary episode from when I was a kid. This is the one where Kit Fisto and his former Padawan go and investigate Newt Gunray's location, only to find out that it's a trap from Mr. Grievous. Hence the name of the episode, Lair of Grievous. they've not yet found out that it's a trap. They're still trying to go inside this castle here. So, got a couple of platforms to get across. Gonna speed that up a little bit by not actually putting the platform into place there. And then once they enter this throne room here, the characters will realize that this was all a ruse. And they will have to try and escape from this castle they walked into. First, some sick deflects at all of these droids here. Once these guys are done, cutscene will play that reveals the ruse, and they'll continue on their way. Now, we have a pretty large skip in this room, actually. So this is supposed to be a part of the level where you encounter Grievous for the first time, and you have to, like, build General Grievous, and then you have a big boss fight with him. But fortunately, this room actually does not have a ceiling. And if you remember from the Legacy of Terror level, you can kind of jump off of liftable objects while you're lifting them. You do that again here, go through the ceiling, and continue on to the next room without having to do that boss fight or any of the puzzles in that room. Another bit of a skip here. If you do a camera pan skip, get a jump off right before the floor falls, you can get out without having to do any of the puzzle underneath the falling floor.
I didn't activate.
That's interesting. I did not realize.
Okay, this is.
Huh. Okay.
This is Gore. This is Grievous's pet. Sometimes he comes out, sometimes he doesn't.
That's interesting. I've never seen him just not come out before. So this is a kind of an interesting boss fight. Since you can grab the grappling hook so early, you can skip a lot of his attacking if you go fast enough. And since Chess is a wizard at this game, he has all of the locations of the Jedi special attack panels memorized. That's exactly where they're going to be.
What's happening?
Starts. And Gore is now dead, and so is both of the clone troopers, unfortunately. But it's alright, we still got our Jedis, right? They're gonna make it out of here, okay?
Both of them?
Yeah, both of them are definitely making it all the way to the end. So, they're trying to escape the planet. So, in order to do that, they're going to build a radar dish to summon their ship to this new landing location so that they can actually escape the planet without dying. Once that happens, we actually have like a minute of just straight downtime waiting for the ship to get here. And this is when General Grievous decides to come and start to toy with us, but we don't actually have to fight him. So you can just kind of chill out and do whatever you want during this part. Since you can see the ship in the background there. Jess is going to use his time to actually get rid of the studs. Since it saves like a very small amount of time to have 0 studs at the end of a level, like a second maybe, since it completely skips the status screen even showing up. So if you can do that without losing any time, like in this level, he doesn't lose any time to take all those deaths since you're just waiting anyway. And ending with 0 studs means that you don't even have to be prompted to skip the stud. Oh.
It's honestly, I try every time, but it doesn't work every time, even though it does say 0 studs. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I have no idea.
Well, never mind then.
No, you're completely right. It's just that it's I don't know why it sometimes doesn't work and sometimes does.
This is very sad. Anyway, during that cutscene, Nadar also died because he got cocky and wanted to go fight Grievous after he like very easily was going to escape. So he actually did die. Sorry. Now we're on to Rookies, which is my favorite Season 1 episode. And has a couple of pretty cool skips, actually.
Okay.
Including one involving this worm. So there's supposed to be a very drawn-out boss fight with this worm. but you can actually get a jump off of your dead body to get across that gap. And then this is a piece of the ship that got blown up like 30 seconds ago by the commando droids. And you can get it into position here and then use this with VSync off to get on top of this platform early. Now, normally you don't get up here until after you fight the worm, but you can completely bypass the boss fight with the help of that, which allows you to skip having to do that at all. So that's probably the second biggest skip we've seen so far, other than the one with skipping the Grievous fight in the last level. At this point, we're back where we started the level, back on the beginning platform, and we're going to go ahead into the compound and try and retake our command post here with the droids that invaded. Now, this is the headquarters room, I guess, so we want to contact the Republic troops here if we can. Try and get some reinforcements. During that cutscene, we realized that there's a invasion force coming of droids, and that's actually quite bad for us. For us, excuse me. That was a poorly worded sentence. So instead of retaking the command post, we're actually going to just blow it up and try and get rid of this flaming fleet here. So to do that, we have these 3 gonk droids strapped with bombs. They might not be gonk droids. These might just be cards.
I think they make gonk noises.
Oh, okay. So maybe these are gonk droids. So the guy on the right side, he has a lot less to do than the team on the left. So it doesn't really matter how quickly the guy on the right gets here, since he's going to be stuck by the wall in either case. Yeah, he's already done with everything he can do until the left side's finished. So he's pretty bottlenecked out. The left side is a lot longer to complete. Since there's 2 carts in this one, only 1 cart on the right. And once all these bomb gonks are put into place, we will be done with this level. But during the cutscene, one of our clone troopers here unfortunately does pass away. Sacrifices himself. I believe his name is Heavy. He's the guy with he's the guy in the middle there on the right. The one with the Gatling gun. And he has to sacrifice himself because the remote control to destroy the bombs was not working. But he did save the other people there. So Fives and Echo and Cody and Rex got to live another day as a result.
And 2 end up becoming ARC troopers.
That's true, yeah. Echo and Fives do end up becoming ARC troopers. And with that, we are already on the last level of Grievous Intrigue, which involves a lot of fighting Grievous. Might not come as a surprise, but first we're going to fight Grievous as Heath Koth. And but I guess before we actually get to the fight, we need to get rid of his Magna Guards, since Grievous does not bother us until after that. But as soon as his guards are gone, then he's ready to party. Unfortunately, when Grievous is kind of hugging you, it's a little difficult to throw objects at him. But here we go. Fortunately, the clone trooper does not have too much to do here, but since this is entirely a force-based boss fight, but that's all right.
That's unlucky. I crashed.
Was that a crash?
That is very unlucky. I don't crash there very often. So that means we got put in no cut once again. That means we get to play level again. Yay. That often happens with VSync on. Nice.
All right. We are.
Oh, I wasn't saving. So
That's all right. We can just keep playing
Yeah.
the levels we were on.
I didn't even realize that. So this is just going to be the exact same, pretty much, as what the rest of the run would be. Or just do it on a completed file.
Yeah.
So
So back to the beginning of this level here, we're gonna fight these guards again, and once again, Grievous is not even gonna bother us until we're done with all that.
can't even shoot him or do anything to him.
Yeah, he's just going. So, yeah, the beginning of, this is a level that I've seen a decent amount of crashes in before. Though usually it's not right there.
I would say that's the most common spot to crash,
Oh, okay.
but usually that happens when you have VSync off. It's like amplified by like 5 times to crash right there. There we go.
I know Justin had a crash once right after the end cutscene of this level in his grunt percent PB, I believe. And that was like a 13-minute time loss, which was pretty unfortunate. But hopefully that's the end of our technical difficulties for now.
That just means we're more on pace with Estimate.
Yeah, that's looking at the bright side. We like to see it.
Because
So-
Estimate predicted a crash or a soft block. Just in case.
Yeah. Good to keep those in mind. So, during this section, Grievous is being fought by Obi-Wan on the left. Anakin is trying to make his way to the bridge to rescue Epilogue, who got captured during the cutscene between the first and second part of this level. So, while that is happening, Obi-Wan is going to try his best to distract Grievous. Anakin needs to get the head from this commando droid so that he can use the panel that allows Epilogue to be rescued. So once that's done, we'll have a little bit more of a boss fight with Obi-Wan and Cody, and then we'll be on our way to the second half of this level. And this boss fight is very similar to the first two boss fights, where you throw objects at Grievous, and then you damage Grievous, and then you throw objects at Grievous, and damage Grievous. There is a little bit of a skip towards the end of this one, though.
Oh, okay. So if Obi-Wan gets trapped inside that little mini room, then you end up soft locking the level, but fortunately the clone trooper was able to get past, and so we can go over there and skip a little bit of a room. A bunch of a labor sword cut.
Yeah,
That was English.
yeah, it's alright. Then we got another boss fight with Grievous here. This is boss fight number 4, I think. Oh, and that's already over. I think I'm in a little bit of a delay right now, but that's alright. So, at this point, our group of friends is once again outside in space without breathing apparatuses and doing just fine. And Anakin is going to allow them to escape the tube that they're in. So, they will be on their way up here, trying to get to the hangars with Epilogue. You'll see in the meanwhile, Anakin doesn't have too much to do, but he's going to get ready for the second part of this room, where he's going to get some torpedoes here that he can use to blast these purple targets. And as soon as this switch gets pulled on the right side of this room over here, then the torpedoes will come out, and quickly Chess will be able to sling those all at the targets. Line himself up to pick them up during this cutscene here. Times this right, you can actually get a cutscene skip here, where as soon as you throw the last torpedo, you're able to land even before it hits. And that will overlap the cutscene with the animation of you landing, and you'll be on your way to escaping that episode, getting right on our way into Ventress here right after that. All right, good stuff. Already 2 episodes down here, and I mentioned the episode Ambush earlier, the first episode of the Clone Wars show. And actually, that's not the episode we're going to play right now. I forgot that this episode came first. So this is the Hidden Enemy, which takes place right after the Clone Wars film, or right before it, I believe, on the planet Christophorus. Ventress is here, and she's causing some problems. So Obi-Wan and Anakin are going to go stop that from happening.
So you should no longer be on delay.
Alright, cool. I think first we have to go figure out where Ventress is. Which we get from the head of this guy here, this commando droid. So as soon as we get the gunship to land, we should be able to...
Oh gosh, okay. Almost swiped my helmet.
Yeah, that commando droid does not like it when you take his head, so he tries to get it back from you. But fortunately, Anakin is pretty good at juking, so no problems there. And another quick little room here, and then we have some boss fight action with Saj Ventress here. We got quite a few iterations of this boss fight coming up in this room, so there's some cool micro optimizations you do with 1v2c here, where you can time your attacks to be basically right when Asajj is vulnerable again. You can skip the need to wait on these animations or these attacks to land if you're just playing with one player. So although this is a relatively straightforward boss fight, there's a lot of micro optimizations you can do during it. You can also force these objects back at her with both players, which I believe makes them move faster, if I remember correctly.
Just a little bit. I'd say overall it saves about 2 seconds, but that is a free 2 seconds. So you just, instead of pressing 1 button down, you press 2 buttons down.
Yeah, more or less, I would say that's not a particularly difficult time save, so might as well get that time when you can, you know? And, Saj tries to escape through a door, but doors do not stop a Jedi, as it turns out. We have another iteration of this boss fight here, where she will attack again. And once we are through this version of this boss fight, we have a new version of this boss fight we'll fight in the next room. A little bit different. They're going to shake up the gameplay a little bit here. Like to see that. Instead of her throwing like vases at us, she's gonna throw some platforms. That's an interesting respawn.
He should come back.
Yeah, he'll find his
There
way.
he is.
Yeah. And I think Ventress is starting to get a little bit worried because it seems like she's going to call in some reinforcements here.
Oh, no, dude.
Wow. That's crazy.
What are we going to do?
You know, if they had access to these giant spiders, they probably should have used them more often. I think they really only used them on Christophsis. Like, I don't think this droid was used anywhere else. I could be wrong, but this seems like a pretty broken thing. Like, they should have used this as much as possible. But, you know, I'm not a military strategist, so what do I know?
Pinkin is not a military strategist.
Yeah. Fortunately, this thing's legs are relatively weak, and they're actually pretty easy to chop right off, so this thing is not as strong as it looks. And it's already on life support here after just a couple minutes with 2 Jedi, so maybe that's why they didn't like it, because it didn't actually fare so well, it seems. Now we have once again another boss fight with Ventress here. Hopefully she doesn't get a bunch of random heart drops from these enemies. It seems like that was actually really fast. She can actually get hearts from these enemies if they fall onto her, and I've seen that happen before. It's not great, but did not happen at all, and that was actually a very fast fight, so good to see. Alright, now we're on to Ambush, the level I was talking about earlier. The first level, or the first episode of the television show, where Yoda crashes with some of his clone buddies onto this planet while they're negotiating a deal with the Toydarian guy, I think. I think that's the species.
Makes
Little
sense.
flight guy, yeah. I think
The
that's
little
right.
flight guy, yeah.
Yeah, it's like what Watto is, but
Yeah,
not
Watto.
Yeah. During this cutscene, our Gatling gun bro gets pretty damaged by some droid, so he has a hard time with his Gatling gun now, and instead of having that, he just uses a droid's head as his weapon now. Which makes him not very useful, but you gotta respect the effort he's putting in.
Are these the same guys from Rookies, or are these different guys?
No, this is a different group. I know there's Waxer and Boyle.
Do they do anything with these people?
I think
You
so.
know.
They weren't as prominent as the rookies guys, because like Echo and Fives were in a bunch of episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to Waxer and Boyle. Yeah, so this level is pretty straightforward. This room is just taking out some tanks, and then we're going to take out some droidicas, and that will already be the end of the level. A pretty fast one here. There is a little bit of a strat on one of these droidicas, since you see the one on the right involves pushing with the Force until he falls in the pit, and the one on the left has a rock above his head. There's another one on the far left here that's supposed
that
to
was too
involve
early.
both of these. Alright.
Do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. So you're able to hit him with these rocks as he's coming up, instead of having to force him into place. But it does take some timing to get that in place. Oh, is this not Waxer and Boyle? I may have mistaken these guys for a different group.
We might be able to see here in the menus. Jack.
Jack.
Okay. I am Jack.
Alright, we're now on to Blue Shadow Virus, which is the level that takes place on Naboo and features Jar Jar Binks. So, we are now inside of the secret laboratory of the Dr. Vindy, who's making a bad disease that would cause a lot of problems. We don't want that to happen, so Obi-Wan is playing, I don't even know what he's doing, but he's gonna break into the lab by shooting all this stuff. And, in the meantime, Cody and Ahsoka are already inside the base, but they're waiting for Anakin, or sorry, Obi-Wan to come and help them out. And once he gets down this hole here at the end of this hallway, he will be down there. And that bomb thing comes and flattens these droidicas. I don't think they were actually spawned in yet, because you're supposed to go through like a cutscene to trigger them, but they just kind of show up immediately once that bomb thing gets dropped on them. And after Obi-Wan goes and hits this power cord thing, that will end this section. We will now be Anakin and a clone trooper. I believe he is just a clone trooper. I don't think he's a specific one.
Nope, he is sadly just clone trooper. But no worries. After this next boss fight, he will be punished because he played a prank on Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan didn't like it, so he sent him off.
Yeah, he does play a sick prank during the cutscene, and it's like the whole sequence of him playing the prank and Obi-Wan getting mad at him for playing the prank actually lasts like 40 seconds, which is pretty funny. It's just like an absurdly long cutscene for what's actually inside of it. But first we have to fight Dr. Bindi. And we'll do that here. Get that nice cycle skip, I think, there.
Oh, 2. Let's go.
Nice. Double cycle skip. That's awesome. Yeah, so our clone trooper is now gone because he played a sick prank in the cutscene. Unfortunate death there on Jar Jar, but he was probably going to end up dying either way, so I guess it's just inevitable. And we will once again have a section where our party split into 2 groups, and during this part we're actually going to be fighting 2 boss battles at once. So we'll have Jar Jar and Padme fighting this little droid guy, and in the meantime, Anakin and Obi-Wan are going to go fight Dr. Bindi. He's going to be on this elevator thing, and droid dude is going to be in this little greenhouse biology place.
Yeah, this droid dude has the big, super scary disease, also known as coronavirus.
Yeah.
So we need to stop
Corona.
him from...
Yeah.
Well, that guy just launched 2 bombs. That's crazy. But yeah.
That's wild.
Also, those bombs are full of corona.
Yeah, there's a lot of corona going around here. So the basic mechanic here is that the droid hides, and then once you find where he's hiding, he jumps out and runs, and then once he stops moving, you can shoot him. And with Dr. Bindi, he's just kind of jumping around until you kill the droids, and then he throws a bomb thing at you. Sometimes he doesn't throw a bomb thing, but once he does, then you can go attack him again. And the droid is now on the second phase here, so once this phase ends, that will be the end of the level, assuming Bindi dies first here. Alright, just one more heart here on Bindi, and then we will be done with that side, and the droid is entering its last heart here. And so that will end the boss fight on this side, and...
Called in too early?
Oh, yeah, there's a cutscene skip there that Chess went through. It was a little bit too early on it, though, but that's alright.
That's still gold.
Alright. So, next up, we have... We're not in
The
Ryloth yet.
Yes,
oh, yeah,
we are.
We are in Ryloth, okay. So, the next 3 levels are all above or on Ryloth. We're going to start off with a ship level here. Since there is a giant Trade Federation ship in front of us, and Anakin has the bright idea to commit a war crime. So, that's what his plan here is. We're going to pretend to surrender And then while we're pretending to surrender, we're going to throw our ship into the enemy ship, which is illegal, but Anakin does not care about things like that. So first things first, we gotta shoot our turrets at these guys, since they are damaging our ship, and we're trying to survive a little bit longer here while these two ships are attacking us. And you can actually drop out and drop back in to warp directly to the location of warp right above the landing pad, which skips a decent amount of walking here. So we're going to use that quite a bit to warp out of these locations we go to. So now that this lever is pulled, we now have access to some torpedoes, which will be helpful for destroying these ships as well, since they also have torpedo targets on them as well as turrets. And now that that lever is pulled, Anakin can get warped back down here. And then we're on a different set of ships now, so we need to shoot them once again with these turrets. So Anakin is going to go and shoot these turrets, while Ahsoka shoots torpedoes at the torpedo targets. And then Ahsoka is going to head up to the top again and pull the other lever, and that will end the level. So this level is all about doing everything twice. You do torpedoes twice, you do each set of turrets twice, you do you go up to the top and pull the lever twice. A lot of twos here, a lot of twos. And then, so we got the last two things to do here. So Ahsoka wants to go pull this lever, and Anakin needs to shoot a couple of turrets left here on the left side of the ship. Just 3 more to shoot here. And once he gets those done, this lever on the right is going to become active. The ship will get thrown into the Trade Federation ship, and a war crime will commence. And there's a nice little cutscene skip there. Was that you got shot into a transition? Was that what did that?
So if you time that perfectly and enter the room, it actually skips the camera pan right there. But it's really hard to time because you don't have really any frame of reference or anything like that.
Okay, this is probably the most broken level in the run. So VSync off right off the bat.
Okay, it's loud, careful, okay.
Alright, no worries here.
We gotta change everything back.
Yeah. Always unfortunate when that reset to defaults button gets hit. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. So with VSync off, this wall here has some pretty interesting collision. You can kind of get jumps up it with a Jedi. And that can give you enough height to get on top of this wall and completely skip that boss or that encounter there. Now, you'd think that might not be super useful because you can't bring your party with you, but as it turns out, you don't actually need any clones to beat this room. So we're going to go ahead and spawn in this walker via this satellite dish here. And while that is spawning in, we're now going to walk over here. And this whole next section involves a whole bunch of things where you get all these animals into their pens or something. I haven't played this section in quite a long time because we're actually not going to do that. We're just going to go ahead and jump up this wall again here, because this wall also has some strange collision, and if you get high enough, you can just completely bypass needing to play that room either. So that skip is probably the second or third biggest skip in the run as well. That whole room, that up with the Grievous skip and the Worm skip are probably the 3 biggest time saver skip things. This is Waxer and Boil. Okay. The more you know. Now I know. Okay. Well, I'm glad that they're finally decided to join us here. So, once this box is put into place, this big door will open, and we'll be able to use these turrets here as soon as we get the droids out of them. We have 3 metal turrets to destroy. Once those 3 are destroyed, the Twi'lek people here will be rescued from their immediate danger. That isn't the end of their struggles. We still have a little bit more of rescuing to do on Ryloth. Since this is only the second of 3 Ryloth levels, we got some more work to do after this. We're not quite done. So, as this 3rd turret gets destroyed, Chess is going to do a bit of a cutscene skip here. And then Obi-Wan will go over to this shield here. So now this last remaining tank is now able to be destroyed. And another cutscene skip will happen here. Once this tank gets destroyed, that is the end of the level. Coming into the final stretch here on this run, we have one more Ryloth level in the Ventress storyline, and then we have the Epilogue Level, which comes together after everything else. So this is the culmination of all of our efforts so far on Ryloth. We did some war crimes, we did some jumping up walls and rescuing of civilians, and now we're gonna do a big ground battle, right? Maybe. I guess we'll see, huh? So there's a whole bunch of ground battle checkpoints that the Separatists have here, and you're supposed to get rid of enough of them to reactivate a bridge to cross into the castle on the other side of this big gorge that we're going to be encountering on the right. But as it turns out, you don't actually need to do that, because we have this walker here, and this walker is kind of broken sometimes. So we're going to use this walker, go over to this gorge that we've been talking about. Right over here on the right, you can kind of see it. Here's the bridge that's supposed to be activated. But we're not going to activate this bridge, since if you lag the game on this rock, the walker just flies into the air, crosses the gorge, and we don't need to do any of the ground battle stuff, actually. The Twi'leks are saved, Ryloth has been liberated, everything is good. I believe Wat Tambor is the name of the guy that was in charge of that. He's in jail now. Alright, just one last level here. This is the Zillo Beast. This is the epilogue. I don't remember the plot of this level. I know the outcome. I don't remember how we got to be in this situation, though.
I think they're like mining oil or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then it's a big war, and then they let off a big old nuke, and then that ends up waking the Zillo Beast.
Yeah, that checks out. Sounds like something the Republic would do. So this level has a lot of studs in it, and you do actually need studs. So first things first, we need a laser tank here, since there's a lot of golden buildings, and we need to get rid of all of the buildings on this checkpoint that Chess just destroyed a building on, so that we can actually activate the big nuke. That is an unfortunate respawn. And we also are going to need a tank to get rid of one silver building, and once this golden building here gets destroyed, we should have enough studs to buy that. And we should also have enough studs for the last room as well, thanks to all these studs right in front of this tank. I think you need about 80k or something like that to have enough. So we should be just fine on that front as well. Now that we have a target in place for this nuke, the nuke gets dropped and it awakes the Zillo Beast. Oh no, it is huge. And when fighting this, we're just going to get some cannons here so that we have enough command points, because you need a building on a command point for it to be considered yours. And you need to own 4 command points before you can activate the air support to get this laser ship. And once we have enough of these laser ships, we'll be able to defeat Zillies by shooting this golden collar it has. And time is coming up here in a second.
Great. It's in like 3, 2, 1, now. Dude, what a good estimate.
Yeah, coming in just under estimate there.
190, 57, 58, 50. I think 58 was final time. Shoot.
Yeah.
Just barely. Oh, we gotta buy Gonk. Oh, shoot. Where's Gonk?
Do you already have Gonk purchased?
I don't have Gonk on this file. So Gonk should be way in the bridge. So we have to do a little bit of walking over here.
Right, it'll be worth it once we get there.
Yeah.
So, for those that aren't aware, there was an incentive on this run to buy the Gonk afterwards. And we met that incentive yesterday, so we got to do a little bit of walking to get over to where the Gonk is.
So he's going to be over in the bridge, which is on this far left over here. We got to force this platform. We can buy this red brick. Dual wield, very cool. There we go.
Glad we got those double lightsabers coming in clutch here.
Dude, this goes hard right now.
Yeah.
So Gong should be over here on the left side. There he is. He's just moseying. We have to kill him though. Now we can buy him.
Wow, that's so rude.
So if you know TCS, this Gonk is like a midway between the complete saga Gonk. He can move a little bit faster. He still can't jump. But if you activate Super Gonk extra in the complete saga, then he can move faster than this and he can jump.
That's crazy. Is there a Super Gonk in this game?
There's not.
Why is Anakin attacking you? What?
I think it's because he's an AI and I'm a villain character. So heroes kill villains and villains kill heroes. So he doesn't like that I'm a villain character.
That's crazy. Gonk is not a villain.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Lego Speedrunning. It was a fun game. Fortunately, we had the crash, but we still managed to equal the ETA. So
yeah, that was a fun run to watch. Thank you for having me commentate with you.
I love that run. That run was amazing. But yeah. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for Big Soul for the donation. That's supporting a very good charity, University of Iowa. And I'm from Iowa, so that's pretty poggers. Yeah. So, any other closing thoughts, Chimkin?
No, I think I got everything. Thanks everyone so much for watching. We appreciate all the support.
And next up, we should have Bionicle. So that'll be super fun. Stick around for that.
Heroes.
Yes, sir. And we'll see y'all for the next run.
Have a good one.